David Silverman over here. This is Matt Groening.
Jim Brooks.
And here we have the main title. There's the tire yard, which is supposed to be burning. Oh, it's a short main. It's a short one because we had a long show. I remember this. And I like starting a show at an unusual angle.
Ooh, do I ever?
Homer. Lisa's making these for her teacher.
Say no more.
She got a pretty good smoke effect.
I do.
I was surprised that it came out that well.
Man, keep your greasy mitts out of
Sean has written more Simpsons than anybody else, right?
That's correct.
Silver's birthday. You know, there are names for people like you. No, there aren't. Teacher's pet, apple polisher, butt kisser.
Bart, you're saying butt kisser like it's a bad thing.
Wow. Yeah, remember that was a heavy joke back in the early '90s. Well, only that, I'm thinking this now, this is like '89, so we're very, very tentative on a lot of these jokes. We're thinking, well, will censors go through that? Will people go for this?
Work, brains, and...
Oh, brother. Uh-oh, school bus, gotta go!
I think actually now the backgrounds you'll see, I think, some improvement, a little bit, at least in the kitchen. We had that one pretty well designed.
Yo, Bart dude!
Hey, can you believe it, man? My sister...
There's Otto, who looks like one of the Simpsons original writers, Wallace Wolodarski.
Bad news, man.
He used to dress that way.
Extra one for you.
You know, John Swartzwelder, this is his first script. He was and is a fantastic writer on the show, and writes the wildest scripts, I think, that we've ever produced over the years. He himself is quite an eccentric guy. He chain smoker. He drove the biggest Cadillac in the 1950s I've ever seen. He used to be stuck in the middle of the parking lot in front of the Gracie Films bungalow late at night while everybody else was leaving, and his car would be going. And he chain smoked, and he used to write these early episodes.
Well, I'd have to say...
At coffee shops.
You're generous
in the San Fernando Valley. He'd sit at a booth with endless cups of coffee and cigarettes, and that's how he'd write the episodes. And
he and Winston Starbuck made the most money at coffee shops. It's in the...
and eventually, of course, smoking was made illegal in restaurants around here, and so...
Hey, what's the difference?
Swartzwelder
That's my sister, man.
went and bought himself a coffee shop booth and had it installed in his home, where he smokes and drinks endless cups of coffee and continues to write more episodes than anyone who has ever written for the show.
Mouse, you're bleeding.
Nah, happens all the time. Somebody else's blood splatters on me. Hey, wait a minute. You're right. You made me bleed my
Of course, this is Nelson Muntz' first appearance, also voiced by Nancy.
It was an accident, man. A terrible, ghastly mistake. Ask anybody.
Hello, kids. Everything a little fun here? Good. Play friendly, children.
And Principal Skinner, blissfully unaware of what's going on. Very silly look on his face.
I'll get you.
You know, the temptation in animation, of course, is to go over the top and really punch everything up. That was a great little moment. That was very cinematic. I like that. You like subtlety every now and then.
There's learning afoot.
The high angle of doom.
I'm just wondering if this is the show that has my favorite Simpsons line ever. It might be.
I always got scared with dream sequences that I'd seen. Oh yeah, we got notes from the censor. Knives could not go into Nelson's chest. Well, you're not supposed to shoot.
Later changed to only briefly.
That's right. Not supposed to shoot with a Tommy gun. At the time, we were very happy the way this little piece of animation came out. It seemed, at the time, very, unusual for a show. The classroom design is still a little bit loose.
You gotta tell Principal Skinner, Bart.
I can't squeal. It would violate the code of the schoolyard.
You know, one of the early color choices on the show was we made the Simpsons skin yellow, and then we started
I would just as soon not make
making some of the other colors pretty
I'm not
crazy
saying I'm
as
not
well.
evil. I'm
And
just saying that
very early on we realized that the way to go with the show is to make colors, if the colors could possibly indicate what the material was, that is, trees should be green and not purple, and that kind of thing. But very early on you'll notice some of these colors are very odd choices, like red lockers and so on.
Yeah.
At the flagpole at 3.
Then we sort of
Oh,
limiting.
Nelson's big.
be prompt. He has 4 other meetings scheduled this afternoon.
The size sort of was a little loosey on this episode. Like the X's for the eyes.
Goodbye, little dude.
You look so lifelike, man.
Yes, the school nurse did a wonderful job reconstructing.
Get up this,
Goodbye, son. I guess you were right. All that homework was a waste of your time.
Thanks, Bart. We got the day off from
That's a great
school for
line.
this.
Yeah, and I got the day off from work.
Homer.
But what's a day off from work when I'm never going to see my beloved son again?
There's the great Homer voice that we all know and love.
That's better.
That's one reason why that Dan said he had to change Homer's voice. It was easier to. He had a lot of screaming and crying to do.
Always my special little guy.
I think the X's in the eyes indicate that this was a fantasy. That was the idea behind that.
Yeah.
It was kind of gruesome.
Look at the way that the X's sort of have a dimension. You know, they sort of fit nicely on the golf ball eyes.
I know you can't eat it now, so I'll just place it lovingly on your forehead.
This thing. Here's one for
That's one of my favorite lines.
This is great, man.
Look at his feet as they kick up there.
I forgot how confident we were back in these early shows. Because I remember we certainly didn't feel confident. Oh, this is great.
I had fun distorting his face.
Oh,
Now I have to go a lot
boy,
further.
you sure
But you
taught
know,
me a lesson. Whew.
I guess I was
Thanks.
pulling back my punches a little
I
bit.
guess now all the
Oh, I love the end of this act.
Right, guys?
Yeah, well, I thought it would be fun to put the camera at the bottom of the trash can.
again tomorrow.
And keep it there.
Simpson.
Is 3:15 good for you?
When we first saw the animation on this, we were amazed. And I think that it's the kind of stuff, David, that you and the rest of the animators added to the show that made us realize we could do anything. And it was really, really inspiring. Seeing what was possible in these first episodes,
The freedom of it, man.
yeah, made us really go wild.
Yeah, which is great because now we do this stuff, you know, all the time. But it was great just experimenting back then.
Bart, what happened to you?
Like it rolls home.
That was a great gag too.
So,
One of the last backgrounds we had the background of the endless doorways.
Right.
I'm gonna miss you, big guy.
Episode by episode, we were designing things a little bit. You know, design this bathroom, we'll design this room, we'll design this room.
cool idea that you're upset about something.
Dad, I need help. Please.
Oh, the tears, the tears.
That was the best take.
We've always had a problem doing tears. I don't know what it is.
This is a great gag. This is a gag.
So what's the problem, son?
Well, that's you. You animated every one of those drawings, right, David?
Yeah, I
love
doing
that.
that, but it was just fun.
Bart, I hope you're going straight to the principal about this.
I guess I could do that.
Now, what episode is this in the series?
This was
I'd rather Bart die.
was episode number 5 in the. I don't know when this aired though.
Schoolyard,
So by this time, The Simpsons was already a real hit.
And it was on Sunday night. It was a magic time period.
One of those different from you.
And Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and it was it was a phenomenon by this time, and it was actually already controversial.
Bart,
And at the same time, there's incredible intense
standing.
What do you mean?
enthusiasm about the show. The criticism was coming in too.
Is he a little under?
I remember the first magazine cover we got, and I kept it
I'll bet he doesn't.
just thinking something would happen, and then by year's end, it was like that main title in Tootsie, where he was just on everything, and I put them all together.
Well, if you recall, Newsweek put us on the cover very early on, and Time magazine rushed out with a pan of the show, a full-page pan, and then by the end of the year, they put Bart on the cover as the best of 1990.
No, not like that. Like this.
the things too from our point directing was we had so many episodes to do simultaneously. So while I was finishing up Bart the Genius, I think I was doing the storyboard of this show, and then everything started to overlap.
So the next time this bully thinks you're going to throw a punch, you throw
But a lot of things I look and said, oh, I wish I had done this, or I wish I'd done that. Then I realized, well, yeah, but I was already working on.
Oh wait, listen. Wait, this is one of my favorite jokes.
Gotcha.
And if you get the chance,
Here we
get him
go.
right in the family jewels. That little doozy's been a Simpson trademark for generations.
Family Jewels.
Thanks, Pop.
That was a censor note too.
Yeah.
Put him up.
I actually played football in high school, and I was very weak. I was on the line as a tackle, and I threw mud in the guy's face opposite me, and he killed me during the next play. You know, he just jumped on me. So that's where that came from.
I like that.
No.
Why didn't you go see Grandpa?
That was a good one.
He's the toughest Simpson alive.
He is?
Yeah,
This is a
remember the
great
fight
joke.
he put up when we put him in the home?
It took a long time to come up with that line.
Really?
Remember the fight he put up when we put him in the home? That took about a half hour.
Half the people here are named Grandpa.
Well, Grandpa Simpson then.
Oh, second floor, third dank room on the left.
In the first shot, by the way, of the
That
exterior.
is your line, Jim. Third dank room on the left. I remember you pitching that.
People are depicted on television.
I was pretty pleased the way this scene came out. He had a nice bit of animation on hitting the return key. Nice and angry.
Resentful individuals who remember the good old days when entertainment was bland and inoffensive. Here's a list of words I never want
This
to
is a good
hear
comeback,
on television again.
Yeah.
Number 1, bra. Number 2, horny. Number 3, family jewels.
Hi, Grandpa.
That was a little self-conscious.
A
little.
Well, let me tell you something, boy. If you don't,
We started early.
Yeah,
they're gonna be picking on you for the rest of your life.
Simpson, give me your newspaper.
Why
He was a
should I?
kindly old gent that was later named Grandpa. Oh, sorry, Jasper.
I said, give me that puzzle.
No.
Give me.
No.
Give me. No.
I remember this fight, this struggle here for the newspaper was, when it first came back, it was very slow and swimmy, to the point where we just had them send the drawings to us, and
I can't help
the drawings were there, but they could never time it right. So we finally got it to work pretty well.
Here?
Yep, this is it.
It was kind of unusual to have a one-armed character in an animated show, or even any show, I guess.
So, Herman, has the large type edition of this month's Soldier Fortune come in yet?
Not yet. Can I
Well,
interest you in some
the design of this character is,
underpants?
other than the one arm, is very much inspired by John Swartzwelder.
Yeah, absolutely.
The voice, of course, is
Hello, sir.
a little George Bush.
Mr.
Thanks to Harry Shearer.
Yes,
Did you lose
Well, here comes
your
a scene that we animated like
I are.
4 or 5
Let me put
times,
it this way.
and it could never be on
Next time your
sync.
teacher tells you to keep your arm
And this was the
inside
best one we
bus
got back.
window, you do it.
Yes, sir. I will.
Bart's
But
got a problem with a local
The original idea with Herman was that every single time we saw him in the show, the original plan was that he would be a regular character. He would explain how he lost his arm, and it would be different every time.
Hard. Now,
You're not supposed, when you see a sign that says "Don't stick your hand in the ball return at the bowling alley," you believe it.
always been a known street. The Greeks knew it. The Carthaginians knew it. Now you know it. First, you'll need a declaration of war. That way, everything you do will be nice.
I'm thinking if we were doing the show today, we probably would see what the declaration looks
This
like.
one from the Franco-Prussian War. I'll just check.
This would be a tricky show to do today.
Bismarck to
Yeah, this
Bart
would
Simpson. And
this would seem to be saying things that we didn't intend to say
I
today.
think this guy's a little nuts.
Oh, yeah? Well, General George S. Patton was a little nuts. And this guy is
It's great with the Patton reference that we want to get visually that, well, Fox actually owns Patton, so we could use the music from Patton. So here in the original idea, I think at the end of the third act, when we had the war with Nelson, we were going to do it to the music of war. Remember that idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think we first sent it back that way. came back that way, but we thought it doesn't really need that. It just should just hold up on its own.
When you say war, you mean war.
Yeah.
What is it good for?
Yeah.
The bully.
Yeah.
That's
It's a great song, but it just didn't seem to be to really fit.
And I, for one, am sick of it. I can't promise you victory. I can't promise you good times. But the one thing I do know...
Remind you what happened to him.
Oh, all right, okay. I promise you victory. I promise you good times.
I remember originally when he said that, everybody left, and then they came back. But again, we were just we always shot more than we showed, so there were gags that we had, and sometimes some of them stuck, some of them laughed. He's beginning the homages to Full Metal Jacket and The Longest Day and Patton and any other war movie out there.
Sound off, 1, 2. Sound off, 3, 4.
Oh, the symmetrical trees.
The symmetrical trees. How do you
in the background?
So it's the only way you can do that shot. They're moving kind of fast too. I think it was the same cycle for driving in a car, unfortunately. I suppose it can be with a slower one.
Go.
Wow, what a dog, man. That's a dog that we would not.
I don't think so, no. He was walking from another show altogether, didn't he?
These early commentaries, folks, are going to be a lot of like, oh my God, what did we do?
What was that looking like? Oh my goodness.
You can march them off a cliff. You can send them off to die on some godforsaken
Good
rock.
joke. Was this
But
John?
for some reason, you can't slap him. Now apologize to that boy right now.
Sorry, man.
That's cool.
In English class, I did the best. In English class, I did the best because I cheated on the test.
This little lip sync problem. Is that just repeated animation?
Yeah, I guess so. But actually, that was the best. Again, it was like one of these things that kept coming back wrong and wrong.
Let's go next group. Martinez, Steinberg, O'Hara, Chang, Olajuwon, Herman. We are merry, we are happy, we are merry. We got a rhyming dictionary. We got a rhyming dictionary.
Again, you know,
One more time.
what I remember from when these shows first aired, again, that intensity of enthusiasm for the show, but incredible criticism too, for having kids do bad things, and we were teaching kids the wrong thing, and all the rest of that. And these shows play so sweet now.
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah, exactly. It's just,
I guess with the, you know, in the wake of The Simpsons, the humor has gotten so wilder that this does look very,
Especially
very
Bart's sweetness, because all the flack then was about what kind of kid he was.
right.
Our main force will be
He seems to
split
be a
into
pretty good
two
kid, you know.
groups. One
So
will
weird.
circle around this
Well, I
way,
guess maybe even in the later episodes of the season,
time in this way. Lose
the
it.
cutting off the head of Jebediah Springfield.
It can't fail against a 10-year-old.
Nelson's at the arcade.
But that was about, you know, pangs of conscience, and even, you know,
It was guilt and
some McLuhan-esque rule, you know, the perception becomes reality instead of the reality.
Never hear the screams of pain or see the look of terror in a young man's eyes. Thank heaven for children.
Hey, good squishies. What flavor did you get? Blue. Hey, you two birds. You're gonna be sucking all your meals through straws if you don't shut your traps. Well, looky here.
so we're up to the battle sequence.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have
And
to teach you
again, there's a lot of cuts. So I think in some ways, I think we
This one.
did a lot of coverage on this.
Artillery, commence saturation bombing!
Originally, as I said, it was cut to the music war, and then we just re-edited it to just be a battle against Nelson. That was from The Longest Day, that shot. Steal from the best.
All right, you kid. Keep it down. Am I making myself?
Great mix on this show, isn't it?
Yeah.
You, up in the tree. Tall gray-haired kid. Get your butt down here right now. No!
Wait! Don't hurt us! Oh, we surrender! We were only following orders!
just love that show.
You learned your lesson, so now I'll untie you.
The second you untie me, I'm gonna beat you to death, man.
Well, if that's gonna be your attitude, I'm not gonna untie you.
You know,
You're gonna have
we were worried about this episode that we thought that was too pro-war, and so we added a tag scene to this whole thing that's coming up.
Armistice treaty.
I cannot believe how sweet this seems.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to.
Right to exist.
Because all the reviews were about how edgy and brash and
Official.
Yeah.
He shall remain a figurehead of menace in the neighborhood.
Wow, sounds good to me. Okay, I'll sign.
What about you, boy?
All right, I'll sign.
Are you boys through playing war?
Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Simpson.
Good. Then here's some cupcakes.
Oh boy.
Cupcakes.
Oh.
It was one of Homer's first and you fill in the blank.
Ladies and
Here's our disclaimer.
gentlemen, boys and girls, contrary to what you've just seen, war
The other
is
thought
neither
was that
glamorous
you were
nor
thinking that
fun.
you'd be doing this
There
from
are
time to
no
time,
winners, only
and we just would
losers.
redo
There
the
are
lip sync
no good
on
wars, with
Bart.
the following exceptions: the American Revolution, World War II, and the Star Wars trilogy. If you'd like to learn more about war, there's lots of books in your local library, many of them with cool, gory pictures. Well, good night, everybody. Peace, man.
have your cake and eat it too.
If we were going to have that disclaimer, we should have gone further with the war. And made it really brutal.
Wow.